Hello everyone, in this video we see about the tooth numbering system. If you already know about tooth numbering system, you want to know what type of questions can be asked from this chapter, you can skip to the MCQ part of this video, or you want to recall the tooth numbering system, please make sure to watch the video completely. Tooth numbering system, the common nomenclature are the terms used in dentistry: jaws, maxilla, mandible, dentition, primary and permanent. The primary means belonging to the first stage in any process. It is the first stage of the dentition, so it's called as a primary dentition. A deciduous means not permanent or transitory. Have you thought why the primary teeth is called as the milk tooth? Why it looks more white or the milky shade? Because in adult the enamel is translucent. It transmits the shade of the dentin. When light passes through the tooth, it reflects the inner shade. Is that a dentin shade? So it looks a bit yellow in adult dentition. In primary dentition, the enamel is less or not translucent, so it doesn't reflect that much of inner dentin shade. So it looks milk white in color. The term succedaneous describes a successor tooth. At the place of a primary tooth, the permanent tooth comes, so it is called as a successor. In the previous video, I said a question about a successor tooth. I explained this about in that question. What is a tooth numbering system and uses? The purpose of this tooth numbering system, or the shorthand, is that to record the data, obviously tooth names, then to store it, to share. That should be ease of communication. It's like a shorthand. For example, we cannot say every time a particular tooth name. If you want to say a particular tooth, you have to mention the four things. One, the dentition, is that a primary or permanent? Then the jaw, maxilla, mandible, and side, right or left, the name of the tooth. So if you collected all the above and you want to say a patient has a dental caries in a permanent maxillary right second molar, if it is only one tooth, then it's easy to record. What if the patient has 10 or more teeth caries? We will be writing all the 10 tooth name in the above said order. It's very difficult to write. To overcome this problem, they created a short notation for teeth. I will explain what are they. Before going into the system, you need to know the side orientation. In simple, if you see this image, this is the clinician. The patient sits opposite to your side, so it's like a right hand will be a left hand for the patient, your left hand will be a right hand for the patient. This order is followed in dental, OPG and X-rays. If you want to read the OPG, you have to first orient the side. Is that a right or left? Always your left side is right side of the patient. Then comes the two lines. Is that one line is called as a midline or a mid sagittal plane. The second thing is it divides upper and lower jaw. See this? It is the horizontal line. This is the vertical line. Then comes the quadrants. What is quadrant? The quadrant is nothing but quad means 4. So there are 4 sections which the mouth is divided. Example, the upper right, upper left, lower left and lower right. All the tooth numbering system follows this quadrant basics. Always the quadrant moves in a clockwise direction. So it starts at the upper right, goes the upper left, then comes down the lower jaw, lower left, goes to lower right, the end. The same thing is explained: the upper right, upper left, lower right. So the same is explained again in a patient face. The right side, the left side, upper, lower, lower. The direction is always clockwise. There are many tooth numbering systems is being published or given. The three popular systems are Zsigmondy Palmer notation system. It's also called as symbolic system. It is accepted in the year 1947. The second one is universal notation system. It is accepted in the year 1968 by American Dental Association. Till now, this system is followed in USA only. Then comes Federation Dente International, in short the FDI system. It is accepted in the year 1970 by World Health Organization. It is also accepted by International Association for Dental Research. Currently, these two systems is followed. This system is followed globally, except in USA. They still follow the universal notation system. It is also followed in India. Let's see the systems in detail. First one, Zsigmondy Palmer notation system. You can see there are two different names. Before going into this system, I will make a quick history of this. Adolf Zsigmondy invented the system in the year 1861. Then in 1870, he published an article about that system in the Journal of British Dental Science. In 1889, he also presented this article in the International Dental Conference. He is the first one to get the credit or accreditation for this tooth numbering system. On the other hand, Gordon Palmer is a Ohio dentist. He also proposed the same system in the American Dental Association meeting, claimed to be this was his original creation. In America, he taken the credit and claimed discovered it, but there is no recognition given for Gordon Palmer. Later, few years after the death of Palmer, the American Dental Association acknowledged his contribution, but not given the credit of a dental notation system. So they started using both the names. So it's called as Zsigmondy and Palmer notation system. In America, it is also called as Palmer notation or symbolic system. That is the quick history of this Zsigmondy and Palmer notation system. The same is given Adolphe Zsigmondy of Vienna in 1861. Introduced a symbolic notation for a permanent tooth. He also modified it for a primary dentition. Initially found for a permanent dentition, then he changed a few things and made for a primary dentition in 1874. On the same hand, the Palmer also independently published symbolic system in 1870. So the other name for the system is for angular or grid system. Okay, let's see what is the tooth numbering system for primary dentition. For a primary dentition, he designated alphabet like A, B, C, D, E. I said in the first the chronology video itself. A for central, B lateral, C canine, D first molar, E second molar. You can clearly see the two planes, the vertical and horizontal. This is the mid-sagittal plane. This is the jaw plane, which divides the upper and lower jaw. Right side, left side, upper, lower. Okay, this is the quadrant. If you take a scenario, if you want to mention a primary maxillary right canine, to denote the quadrant he used angle. C is the name of the tooth. Okay, example, this is canine. If you see like this, it creates an angle. You can see clearly. If you take this is the lower left quadrant, upper left quadrant. This is the upper right quadrant, lower right quadrant. So he used angles to mention the quadrants. If you want to mention maxillary right canine, for the right maxillary you mention as like this. Okay, because the right maxillary, this is the right maxillary, so there comes the angle like this. So you mention like this and the name of the tooth C. Second scenario, if you want to mention mandibular left first molar, then you have to mention mandibular left. The angle is that mandibular left in the sense this. See, this is the mandibular left or the lower left. So you used this angle. Then the tooth name D. D is for first molar. Similarly for permanent dentition in the Zsigmondy Palmer system, the same quadrant is followed. You can see I explained here clearly. This is the upper right, upper left, lower right, lower left. For a permanent dentition, to mention the tooth, you use numbers from 1 to 8. 1 central, 2 lateral, 3 canine, 4 first premolar, 5 second premolar, 6 is first molar, 7 is second molar, 8 is third molar. This is also I mentioned in the chronology of a permanent dentition. Same quadrant is taken, the angles are same, the only tooth name is different. Take a scenario. If you want to mention maxillary left first molar, so the first molar is that 6. All the 6s are a first molar. Then you have to mention maxillary left. You can see this is the maxillary left. So you have to mention this angle. Like you mention this angle and the tooth number. So this is maxillary left first molar. Take another example. Mandibular right second premolar. The 5s are the premolar. You have to mention mandibular right. This is the mandible and you have to take the right side. So this is the right side. So this is the tooth you have to mention. This comes with angle like this. This mention like this. If you want to easily remember the angles, make a short diagram like this and you can mention right, left, maxillary, mandible. You can take the cutout alone and find the angle of the tooth. Next one, then we come to the uses of the system. First, this system is easy to write and record. Instead of writing the tooth name fully, you can simply write this. So this is very easy to write. If you want to store this data in a computer, it is hard to input the angles in the keyboard. So it have to have a different font for it. Difficult to type in keyboard and computerize the data. To overcome this drawback of the angles, then the two systems came. One is the FDI system, another one is the universal system. Let's move on to the second, Federation International FDI system. It is given by Dr. Joachim Viol from Berlin, Germany. In the year 1968, he gave this tooth numbering system. It is adapted in the year 1970. It was first introduced in 1968. Then it is adapted in the year 1970. The other name for this system is the 2-digit system. To easily identify the quadrant, they used numbers to denote it instead of symbol. I said no, to overcome the drawback, they use the numbers instead of symbols. If you take the FDI system, there will be a 2-digit. The first digit denote the quadrant. The second digit denote the tooth name. These are the quadrants: upper right, upper left, lower right. For the primary dentition, they used 5, 6, 7, 8. For the permanent dentition, they used 1, 2, 3, 4. If I say 1, the first digit 1, it is the quadrant. So it denotes upper right. So the quadrants to remember. Let's see the FDI tooth numbering system for a primary dentition. To designate a particular tooth, use numbers instead of alphabets. If you take the Palmer notation system, you would have mentioned with the alphabet A, B, C, D, E. Instead, in this system, they use numbers itself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 is a central incisor, 2 is lateral incisor, 3 is canine, 4 is a first molar, 5 is second molar. This is for primary dentition. Represent the actual numbering system. I said no, the first digit, it denotes the quadrant. 5, 6, 7, 8 the quadrants, and the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the tooth name. Let's say with the example, if you have to say primary maxillary right second molar. So if the word primary comes, you have to remember the quadrants as 5, 6, 7, 8. Maxillary they are saying, so it can be 5, 6 only. Then comes the right. This is the right side, this is the left side. Then the second molar. Second molar is 5. You can obviously say the tooth notation as 5, 5. I given you see 5, 5 is the short notation for primary maxillary right second molar. The first digit denotes the quadrant. The second digit denotes the tooth name. Is that 5 in the sense maxillary right quadrant, This 5 denotes tooth name. Tooth name in the sense 5 is second molar in primary dentition. This is another example. Primary mandibular left second molar. You can easily say it is mandible, so it can be 6 or 7. Left in the sense it will be 5, 6, 7. So it is 7. Then the second molar is 5, 7, 5. You can clearly see 7 is left, so the tooth number is 5. It's 7, 5. I said for a primary dentition. Now for a permanent dentition, use same numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. Similarly as Palmer notation system. 1 for central, 2 for lateral, 3 for canine, 4 for premolar, like that. This is the actual representation of this tooth numbering system. This is the quadrant: right, left, maxillary, mandible. You can always read with the examples. It will be so easy. If you want to say a permanent maxillary left, first a premolar. So if the word permanent in FDI system denotes the quadrant, this is permanent, can be 1, 2, 3 or 4. Then comes the maxillary, so it can be 1 or 2 only. Left they mention, so left is 2. This is left, this is right. Then the tooth name is first premolar. Central, lateral, canine. This is the first premolar. Maxillary left first premolar is 2, 4. You can see clearly 2, 4. This is the first digit. This is the second digit. Permanent mandibular right first molar. So it is the mandible 3 or 4. Then comes the right. This is the right side. So it is 4. Then the first molar. The first molar is 6. So it is 4, 6. The use of this system, it is easy to pronounce in conversation and dictation, and also easy to write. If you want to say this tooth name, a permanent mandibular right first molar, you can simply say 4, 6. If the other person know this FDI system, he can easily understand you are describing this particular tooth. I said this, the primary starts with 5, the permanent starts with 1. Have you thought why the primary teeth quadrant is not designated from 1, even though this dentition comes first? The same question was raised by many dentists in the conference where they proposed this system. They answered the permanent dentition stays for long period. Okay, the primary dentition stays for a period of 11 years, but the permanent dentition stays for a period of more than 50, 60, 70 years. So there will be a lot more time working with a permanent dentition. Is that recording and storing data? So they given quadrant from 1 in the permanent. It's a fact. This is the third numbering system, universal numbering system. The universal numbering system was proposed by Julius Peridit in the year 1882, and also by Cunningham in 1883. This came in effect since 1975. Julius Peridit is a German dentist. It endorsed by American Dental Association in 1968. The American Dental Association Council on Dental Care Program adapted in the year April 18, 1975. That is the effect since 1975. In simple terms, this universal system is that counting consecutive teeth. For example, I start with the permanent dentition, then we can go to the primary dentition. It uses numbers in consecutive order from 1 to 30. There are 32 teeth in a permanent dentition. So they started using the numbers itself: 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You can note the 17 starts from lower left side, not the lower right side, because it is in a clockwise direction. Then 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. This is right, left, maxillary, mandible. So if you want to mention a particular tooth, you have to say the number only. If they say 26, you have to know this is permanent mandibular right lateral incisor. This system is hard to remember. You can remember either by practice or some tricks to remember. Like if you take the midline part, okay, if you take 8, 9, 25, 24 is for the central incisors. The 1, 16, 17, 32 is the third molars. Like that you can get an idea. This system can be only remembered if you practice it daily and say it daily. This cannot be learned or said in one day. This system is not followed in India or in mostly not followed globally, except for United States of America. Still they follow this system only. It currently followed in USA. Take a scenario: if an American dentist talks about a patient and says and mentions the tooth number 13, you should not mistaken as 13, mistaken as this 13. The key point is in FDI system or a 2-digit system, the 2-digit number should be separately pronounced or read. Example, you should say, if you want to say 13, that's wrong. You have to say 13, not 13. This is for the FDI system. But in the universal system, you have to say as the number itself. For example, this tooth you have to say as 10, not 10. Okay, this is the difference between universal and the FDI system. Okay, I said for the permanent dentition, let's move on to the primary dentition. The primary dentition, it didn't the number, because we use the numbers for the same, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It will be so confusing between a permanent and a primary dentition. For this, they decided to use the alphabets. Simple: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. The clockwise direction: K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S. This is also a bit difficult to remember, but you can remember E, F, O, P as the center tooths. Okay, A, J, K, T are the distal tooths, like the molars. I said all about the three important systems. Then comes, as I said, there are many numbering systems proposed by different authors. So they decided to get a standardization. Is that everyone should follow the same. Currently, the FDI system is a solution for a dental coding system which followed globally. The universal system followed in America. If you are saying the whole tooth, the order is, I said already, first you have to mention a dentition, arch, quadrant and the tooth name. You should not change this order. The two major motivation of developing this systems were to communicate with your colleagues, dentists. So this should be easy for the communication and writing or speaking. Then to computerize all the data. You have to computerize and store the patient data. Okay guys, as I said previously, there are a main numbering system. This is taken from an article. I given the reference. In this article, they suggested a new tooth numbering system for the primary tooth. It is given in the last. This is all okay for the primary dentition. They given, let's see, a Zsigmondy, a Palmer system, a Roman numericals or the alphabet. See, they given the quadrant. Then comes the universal system by Parrott and Cunningham G. Okay, this is the universal system. I said A, J, K, T in the clockwise order. Next comes HTH Elisher. This is also a classification. It's not followed mostly. Then Mons Du Bois make a point about Victor Adrup. In 1891, he given the system with a plus or minus to indicate the jaws. The plus is for the upper jaw, the minus is for a lower jaw. Make a note of it. This might come in the exam. Next is Oilfeld system, Freichlom and Lysel. This is the FDA system given by Vayol. We saw this. And then the Palmer's and FDA together, MECAP system given by Akram et al. This is the new system they proposed in this article by Avale or et al. Let's see the MCQ part. These are the possible questions. It can be reframed or rechanged or some other questions might come from the above said things. Make a self note for yourself so you can revise it easily. The first question we see, which system is followed globally except USA. I said the only system they followed in the USA is universal system, but they are asking system which followed globally is the FDA system. The answer is the FDA system. Next question, the system which is currently followed in USA. So the same options. I said the only system which followed in USA is the universal system. Third question, in 1947, ADA, the American Dental Association, recommended following which of the symbolic system. I said symbolic system. So from this option you can say it is the Zsigmondy Palmer notation system. It is also called as angular or a grid system and the symbolic system. So the answer is Zsigmondy Palmer for the third one. Next comes the angular / grid system is also known as the same. The angular system, the grid system is also known as Zsigmondy / Palmer system. In 1970, WHO advised which system as a standardization of a dental tooth notation. They said they want to follow globally. Is that the FDI system? Answer is FDI system. I said in the above video. Let's move to the sixth question. In tooth numbering system, 5 indicates they are asking. This is from FDI system. 5. Okay, the 2-digit system. So you have to see the first digit 5 is the it refers to the primary dentition quadrant. So 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is absolutely the primary dentition. If you check the option, they are given 2 primary dentitions. So this two is not the option. Then check for the quadrant itself. 5 comes in the maxillary right. So you can see maxillary right. So this both right. Then you have to see the second digit. 5 indicates second molar. So the answer is second molar. So primary maxillary right. 5 is maxillary right. Then comes the tooth 5. So this is 5 is indicating this tooth. Identify the tooth 3. Similarly, you draw a diagram, but you have to see the first digit as 3. 3 is for the permanent dentition. So 1, 2, 3, 4 quadrants. Then they are asking for teeth is 3. There are only 2 permanent dentition, 1 and 2. So this 2 is not the option. Then check for the side. 3 is for mandibular lift. So you can see permanent mandibular lift. This is the canine. Canine is the third tooth. This 3 indicates permanent mandibular left canine. Which of the following dental notation is also known as, if you carefully seen the universal numbering system, I mentioned Cunningham. He is also proposed the similar thing as Petrit, is author of universal numbering system. So the answer is Cunningham notation. From 1 to 8 questions are the possible questions. It can be reframed. Some other things might come from the tooth numbering system. You try answering these questions. This was taken from the previous videos like chronology of primary and permanent dentition. Let's see the first question. The term diphodont means, I said in the video, a di for 2 is that, you see the options, second dentition. No, it's not the second dentition. 2 same sets of dentition. No, 2 separate sets of dentition. More than 2 sets of, no, this is not more than 2 sets of dentition. So this is not the answer. This is not the answer. Diphodont means there are 2 different sets of dentition. Is that a primary and permanent dentition? So the answer is 2 separate dentition. Let's see a dental formula of a 9-year-old child. They are asking. This is a tricky question. They are asking the dental formula. If you take as this the quadrants, they are asking the age is 9. So you should know the permanent tooth eruption sequence. Example, central will come at central incisor. Is that 1 comes at the age of 6, 2 comes at the age of 7 to 8. This is 6 to 7, and this is 7 to 8. Okay, similarly like 1 to 1 to 1 to 1 to. This fourth teeth will be present at the age of between 8 and 9. Okay. Then if you take a canine will not erupt at the age of 9. Mostly it will erupt around 9 to 10 years of age. This would be a primary canine, so I mentioned as C. Then you have to see for premolars would usually it erupts at the age of 10 to 11, so there won't be no permanent premolars. Mention as D, E, D, E, D, E, D, E. Then the only remaining is the permanent first molar erupts at the age of at 6 years. It will be mentioned as 6. Okay. So from this you can see you got a rough dentition at the age of 9. So the answer 6EDC21. You got this. This is for maxillary. This is for mandible. The same thing you can see. So this is the dental formula for a 9-year-old child. Okay. If you see the second option, they given as A. A cannot be there. The central teeth would have erupted. So this is wrong. Then this given as 7. 7 is the permanent second molar. The permanent second molar usually comes at the age of 11 to 12. So this is absolutely wrong. So you will be remaining with the answer this option. So this is the 9-year-old rough dentition. This is another question. How many teeth are seen on X-ray at birth? They are asking at birth. Then you have to know the first evidence of calcification of the permanent tooth. Okay, only the first molars have first evidence of calcification at birth. So there are 4 first molars. I already said clearly primary dentition first evidence of calcification all are in vitro, is that fetal life. There would be obviously a 20 primary teeth plus this 4 because at birth they are asking. If you add, you get a total of 24 teeth. If you take the X-ray, a few days old child, you will see there are 24 tooth buds will be present. Next question: a child has 12 permanent and 12 deciduous tooth. What is the age? This is a nice question they ask. Okay, if you see this question, they gave the age. You have to find the formula. This question, they given the teeth which present. You have to guess the age. Simply, you see the options. How to solve this? First, you take 12 permanent teeth. If you know the sequence of eruption, 6, 1, 2, 4, 3, 5, 7, 8. For maxilla, mandible will be 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 for the mandible. If you know this order and the tooth eruption, you can make a rough outline. The first permanent tooth to erupt was central lateral, central lateral, central lateral, central lateral. So this comes to a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It already come to a total of 8. Okay, this is at the age of 7 to 8 itself. At the 7 to 8 years age itself, there would be a first molar. All the 6 would be erupted. If you count this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It already came to the 12 permanent tooth. This is all between the age of 7 to 8. The option which is closely related to it is option A. The age can be between 8 to 9 or 7 to 8. Okay, so this is the close one. Why can't be 10 or 11 or 9? Because the canines would have come. The permanent come in the mandible at the age of 9 to 10. So this is not the answer. If it came, it will be like how many teeth? You see 1, 2, 3, 4 4s are 16. There will be 16 teeth. If they given us 16 permanent teeth and 10 deciduous teeth, then the answer would be 9 years. This can be taken as a basic science question or anything. Dentition of human. This question might not be framed properly. Herbivorous, carnivorous, omnivorous. What does it actually mean? There is 2 different words. Okay. First one is herbi, carni, omni. Then the vorous. The meaning for vorous is to eat, consume. Human consumes both plant and meat. This is wrong. So this option is herbivorous. Herbi is for plants. Human not only consumes plant. So this is wrong. Carni means scavengers or hunting. The lion, tiger, that kind of animals would come. Then the option is omnivorous. Omnivorous is the right answer because human consumes both plant and meat. So the answer is omnivorous. Let's end the video here. Previously I posted 2 videos about the chronology. This is the 3rd video. If you haven't watched the videos, please make sure to watch the videos. If you have a clear idea about chronology of tooth eruption and the tooth numbering system, there will be 3 to 5 questions in the NEET MDS examination. So you can get 12 to 20 marks. This is easy scoring chapters, but there is highest possibilities of making silly mistakes. So you will be losing your mark. Make your notes for yourself so you can write the key points alone and revise key point alone. No need to revise the complete book or to watch the video again. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to like, share and subscribe. If you find this video useful, share with your friends. Bye bye.